Hi Gemini, here is a general look at your solar chart for September 2014. And you could be busy on the home patch, or if you're not at home, at a base of operations. There could be a lot going on within a certain sort of locale, or with a certain group of people. From the end of August, though, until the very beginning of September, fleetingly the energies can be a bit heavier there, and you could feel that there's more pressure on you, or more on your shoulders, more to deal with. So you need to push through that, but you need to perhaps see beyond, because there's a bit of Neptune around at the very beginning of the month, and that Neptune tends to fog material issues, and so there can be ambiguities in the mists of Neptune swirling around you. So see beyond, and really Neptune responds better to sensing and intuiting. It's great for art, it's great for imagination, it's great for healing and spiritual pursuits, but when it comes to the material world, Neptune can get us seeing mirages, but also in the material world, the energy of Neptune means that we need to be kindly, even when we're not in the mood, put ourselves out a little bit more. So there's some of that at the very, very beginning of the month, and you choose from the list how you're going to be using this Neptune, but it can introduce doubts and illusions, which are just like chimeras. They're mirages. They're it's a bit smoke and mirrors, really. However, all month Mercury is in a really good angle to your sun sign. Well, I say all month, near as damn it. So until the 28th, Mercury is in a very innovative area of your solar chart, and you will be maybe having increased communications about creative things, projects and the like, but also be in them, be very much in that that stream of creativity. But also it can be speculation, it can be looking into the possibility of this, that, or the whatever. It can also not pan out like that. It might pan out in a romantic kind of a way, because this is the house of romance as well. It's also the house with you just playing with ideas and you having fun with that, and perhaps the child energy being very more at the forefront, because your own inner child, of course, playing around with these ideas, but also children, young people, or people who are maybe like children, or do not have the same privileges or abilities in some way, and so you are seeing them and helping them in that very sort of fun way, playful way, but you're helping them in some way. Or it can be vice versa, somebody's helping you, but there's this lightness here. It has the energy of playfulness with it. So but don't expect to be able to evaluate realistically somebody or something or an idea, or indeed expect others to come to you with that very clear, definite evaluation. Particularly around the 11th and the 12th, there can be these doubts or these illusions there, but because the energy is just not that strongly, hasn't got the resolution, hasn't got the sharpness with it. So kind of pixelated, and but like I say, it's a great time for sensing, feeling, knowing in the pit of your stomach, sort of thing, and good for abstract work, spiritual, imaginative, that kind of that kind of work as well. There could be some jitters in the second week, because then we've got Mercury going over Pluto and Uranus. So you should strive to keep an open mind, strive not to get too passionate, too worked up about an idea. And it's only got to be this, and you know, it's a bit extremist, you know, or it might not be you, it might be somebody imposing on you that. And you should be thinking more deeply about things, but at the same time sticking up for what's important to you, what you genuinely feel about something. And also you should be able to just try to keep an open mind, and then later in the month you're going to get things in perspective, you're going to get things in proportion. Until the 6th, Venus is in a very sociable sector of your solar chart, and your favorite place, really, you know, connecting with others, bouncing ideas around, more little sort of social gatherings perhaps. That's been going on since pretty much the middle of August. And it tends to deliver environments or daily encounters which are just more appealing or entertaining in some way for you. But also media is favoured, arts are favoured, imaginative work is favoured, creative work is favoured, buying, selling, promoting, all of that type of thing is very favoured with Venus there. And then Venus moves on the 6th and brings a very friendly, sociable light to the root of your chart. There could be get-togethers chez vous, or you could be going out more to visit others, or being in an environment which you love and get a lot out of. And you feel that there's beauty around you, and maybe, you know, the surroundings have things about them which are very pleasing to you, or it could be family, it could be extended family. And you just appreciate your connections, your tribal connections, your connections with the past, your connections with nature, your connections with history, or just the beauty, you know, of it around you. It's more likely then. So make sure you get yourself in an environment where you can pick up on this energy very strongly. Mars is in a sector until mid-month, which is emphasizing the practical side of things. And actually, this is a pressured area for you, getting your head around how this thing works, how to do this or that or the other thing, or how to deal with this repair, that maintenance, that stack of papers in the corner which you kept putting off, you know. And it's really chiming in with position of Saturn, which has been there for 2 years now. A very service-orientated area where you have to be there for others. You have to, you know, not wait on them hand and foot, but you just have to show willing, be useful. But also others have to show willing and be useful to you, because the energy doesn't have an opinion about which way it's flowing. But this is a time that you could be adding new strings to your bow, and learning how to speak a new language, as it were, in whatever area, or literally another language, or it could be you addressing the knotty details of this or that or the other tricky situation. You know, this is a very practical area, so that type of thing could be going on, and Mars is going to be stirring it up and energizing it, and meaning that you got to watch the energy of Mars, because Mars can be too hasty, handle somebody badly, handle a situation badly, because of, you know, it's very sort of forward-moving energy. Mars people, Aryan people, often walk with their head slightly jutted forwards. It rules the head, you know, and the whole body is kind of leaning forwards, because they are always going somewhere fast, often. It's not absolutely 100% of the population, but it, as a general rule, it's quite noticeable. Or somebody with a strong Mars. It doesn't necessarily have to be a person with Sun in Aries, but somebody with a strong Mars. You generally see that sort of leaning forwards of the body, and that racing towards whatever they're racing towards, and that sort of sitting right forwards on the chair to engage and listen in and talk. So this energy of Mars, which rules Mars people, is in the area there of, as I say, this very practical area, and collaborations can be very practical, but you might cross swords, you might butt heads, you know, with somebody else to do with a practical issue, a detail, you know, which you're thrashing out there, it might be a small price to pay, though, if you get your act together in a better way in the process, either to do with duties, chores, the job, a project, or your health. This is also an area of health, and it might be somebody else's health that you're concerned about. And then from mid-month, Mars moves into this area where you are more likely to be butting heads with somebody, and really, you know, bouncing ideas in a very, shall we say, lively way with others. And this is where you've got to be careful that you don't say something you shouldn't have said and you put your foot in it. This is the area where you've got to be careful you don't jump in, you know, feet first into a new relationship, or however it is, you know, with all guns blazing before you are absolutely sure of the ground there. But having said that, cooperative and competitive interactions are strongly favored, and it's about strategy, it's about, you know, being smarter, I guess, in some cases, but also in other cases you not, on the one hand, elicit strong opinions and another, or they elicit strong opinions in you, or indeed there's a strong pull towards you, and you know, sparks fly for one reason or another. But don't let somebody tire you out. Don't let somebody really push you to the limit, because it can happen with Mars here. And try to put your boundaries in place, and don't spread yourself too thin. On the upside, again, another's willingness to take action with you or on your behalf can be invaluable with Mars in this area here, and you can indeed be more effective with them, you know, putting their energy in there than without. And diplomacy, again, you know, and giving the other the space to do their thing is always advised, as long as, you know, it is somebody that you can trust. But of course, in order for you to be able to know if you can trust them, you've got to give them a trial. Anyway, some of that might be, you know, applying to you. And this is quite a tricky area, as I say, because Mars is sort of short fuse and feistiness. Now, just getting back to Saturn, you Geminians, in this very practical area for this long transit, you Geminians who were born in the second 10 days or early in the third 10 days of the sign, or with 17 to 22 degrees rising, going to feel this energy the most this month. Jupiter has now come to his favorite house, where he works he works very strongly for the next 12 months, or for the next, it's not going to be 12 months now, it's about 11, but and this is you developing yourself through higher education, through travel, through connection with foreign lands, through speaking, writing, other forms of creative self-expression. There could be more exchanges which are positive with others, because of how you are expressing yourself, whether you're doing it for your work as a creative artist, or whether you are just trying to learn something, and you know, the recognition should come your way, the honors should come your way, if you're putting the word out on a wider stage, through the net, or through, you know, the old-fashioned ways of doing it, through art, I mean, you know, through using paper. You're likely to do well. You're certainly 100% guaranteed to learn a lot about using media, using different mediums of expression, but also making the right connections, getting out and about more, and it will stand you in good stead in the future. What you do learn, new concepts, jargons, languages, connections, contacts, will be carved into your mental landscape. And you Geminians born in the second 10 days, or with 9 to 16 degrees rising, will feel that energy the most this month. And just a mention of Neptune again, as I do, just as a sort of reminder that you early Gemini people who were born in the first week, maybe just going into the second week, you're going to be feeling this Neptunian vibe, which can make you feel uncertain sometimes of what you're doing, but you just need to go where that little light inside you, you know, that little knowingness is pointing you, and also that tuggy string is pulling you, and honor yourself, honor your goals in life, and be, you know, as much help to others as you can be of service along the way. This is very much, you know, and be the healing presence, you know, that you'd love to have in your life, as much as you can with the present position of Neptune. And if you're doing anything imaginative for your work, through art, and there's all sorts of ways of doing that, but through good causes, putting your energy there, healing, spirituality, and charity work, anything to do with catering, hospitality, anything in that area there, and a myriad of other areas that I haven't mentioned, where you are not going for it for the commercial success, you're going for it because it's a service in a kind of a way. It's serving the common good on a sort of higher level, I have to say. Then you go for that, and Neptune will really deliver for you. But remember that Neptune can be cloak and dagger, smoke and mirrors, and if you try to go for the commercial side, you try to go for material success, then you will probably get confused and in a muddle. So you need to sort out where your priorities are and where you're coming from. And that's it. That's it for September. If you know your rising sign or your moon sign, you might like to listen to those. It can sort of reveal something else to you, and you can fit it together in your own way over the month. And I'll see you the next time.